I'm ready. We're just waiting for the.
He could be there for an hour.
Our high-tech guy.
Done.
We need
That
DAC.
wasn't the easiest.
Air conditioning?
You passed the test.
Is it like a bike, Anthony, where you can ride the wheels on?
It wasn't intuitive. I'll just leave it at that. It's working now.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the Township Committee meeting of April 11th, 2023. Ms. Brake, please call the roll.
Committeeman Chickarelli?
Here.
Committeeman Rue?
Here.
Committeeman Thompson?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Britting?
Here.
Mayor LaPlante?
Present.
Administrator Ferrera?
Here.
Attorney Willard?
Here. Please join me in salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be advised that in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, that notice of this meeting was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex and notifying the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex at 7:30 p.m. on April 11th, 2023. First order of business is approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 14th, 2023?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second?
Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Chickarelli?
Yes.
Committeeman Rue?
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Britting?
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante?
Yes. We'll move on to reports from our committee liaisons. We'll start with Committeeman Chickarelli.
Good evening. First report is from the engineering department, and the engineering department would like to inform the public about the process that determines which roads are repaved each year. There are approximately 260 miles of roads within the township, and many were built around the same time frame. In order to be fair, the township invested in a road evaluation computer program that photographs and analyzes each road's condition and ranks the road's condition based on the traffic volume, speed, and actual condition of the road. High traffic road will be ranked slightly higher than others. The public can view the road evaluation on the engineering page on the township website. I believe Pannoni took care of that for us. The engineering department receives many calls requesting road repaving, but due to budget constraints, they must be ranked and completed over time. Yearly capital road repaving proposals and budgets are based on this objective evaluation report. The engineering department also pursues state grants and other funding sources to repave certain eligible roads, similar to how the work on Amsterdam is being funded. So if you do not see your road on the yearly list, which will be released after the capital budget is approved in May, you should contact the Department of Public Works and report that repairs are needed. The Department of Public Works will continue to repair roads until full repaving is budgeted, which again is determined by the ranking with the road evaluation program. So we thank you for your understanding of this process, but the engineering department and the Department of Public Works are hard at work trying to maintain our roads. The Department of Public Works has started their street sweeping program. I saw the machine out on the road today. With increasingly comprehensive stormwater plans in place from the state, the township-owned roadways will be swept more often during the year. We are asking residents to not place their trash and recycle cans in the street so the sweeper can perform its job effectively. Also, any overhanging portable basketball rims and baskets should be placed off the curb so that they do not impact the vehicle's path. With hundreds of miles of roadway to sweep, we need every advantage we can to help us accomplish this large maintenance task. From the Planning and Zoning Department, discussion of impervious coverage. Each property in the township has an impervious coverage limit based on zoning. The Planning and Zoning Department would like to inform the public that impervious coverage is any surface in the landscape that cannot effectively absorb or infiltrate rainfall. This includes driveways, patios, rooftops, and walkways. Water percolating into the soil becomes a stable supply of groundwater, and the runoff is naturally filtered of impurities before it reaches creeks, streams, rivers, and bays. As areas become more developed, the amount of impervious coverage increases and natural filter systems are no longer in place to intercept the runoff. This has serious implications for water quality and flood control. And to learn more, visit the Planning and Zoning webpage. An update on the Rock Brook Bridge update and construction. The county now has all permits and agency approvals regarding repairs on the Rock Brook Bridge. The contractor has already been at the bridge site for debris removal and salvage of construction materials from the downstream area, as well as recovery of historic bridge components, and as well as, as required in the amended scope of work approved by the state. The revised construction plans for the bridge and roadway embankment are now, and the repairs are now finalized, so they're ready to go. Construction will start as soon as possible. The current schedule has the start of work within the next 3 to 4 weeks, which will be at the beginning of May, including provisions for cold weather work for cast-in-place concrete, which with the pending forecast, I don't think is needed. But anyway, they're ready to go. The remaining material procurement and fabrication is nearly complete, and that'll include stone masonry and roadway paving that will follow and will be performed as the summer season approaches. And lastly, the Municipal Alliance. This is probably the best one. In conjunction with Doggy Noses and Yoga Poses, Hillsborough, Borough Safe, and the Hillsborough Millstone Municipal Alliance are hosting puppy yoga on Thursday, April 27th, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the municipal building, here at the municipal building. The event will benefit bully rescue warriors as well as Borough Safe. The hour-long event features a mixed-level yoga session conducted by a qualified yoga instructor. Rescue puppies and dogs will be roaming freely during the session. The benefits of yoga are further enhanced by your interaction with adorable and available rescue puppies. This is the second time Borough Safe and the Alliance have co-hosted this event, and I know the first one was a great success. So we look forward to this one being equally successful. Please see Thursday's Experience Hillsborough supplement for registration information. Who doesn't love puppies? So that's it, Mayor.
Puppies and yoga, perfect together. Committeeman Rue.
Thank you, Mayor. From the Recreation Department, registered today for the 2023 summer activities. Summer fun has just begun with the Recreation Department. The 2023 Summer Activities Guide is packed with activities and events for everyone. Keep your kids active this summer with art programs, yoga, golf, tennis, STEM programs, summer basketball leagues, as well as summer sports camps, clinics, and a music academy. We've got something for everyone. Please sign up at https://register.communitypass.net/Hillsborough. From the Health Department, warmer weather means that you are spending more time outdoors and in contact with nature. You don't want to be in contact with tick-borne illnesses from tick bites. Please check the Health Department site on the Hillsborough website to see how to prevent tick bites, how to remove ticks, and how to identify them. Wildlife is also active at this time of year. Please make sure to call the Animal Control Line at 908-722-1271 to ask questions about wildlife that might be taking up residence on your property or is behaving unusually. Some animals carry rabies, which is a fatal disease caused by the rabies virus. To protect your pets, please make sure they are currently vaccinated against rabies and that dogs are licensed in 2023. Even if your pet is vaccinated, if it has contact with a rabid animal, please contact your vet for a booster vaccine and report any contact of people or pets with another animal to the police department. If you are bitten by a dog, it is important to get the owner's information, name, address, and phone number. The police and the health department will get the dog's vaccination records and make sure the dog is observed for 10 days to be sure it cannot transmit rabies. Please check out rabies information on the health department website. Additionally, there are free radon test kits available at the health department while supplies last. Lastly, the Night of Conversation. Committeeman Ciccarelli and I had the honor of attending the annual Night of Conversation on March 30th. There were in excess of 100 people. We were joined by Officers Olzik and Officer Giraldi, as well as a panel of people. Panel of speakers, there was 5 speakers, and they had workshops throughout. It was very well attended, very well received, and they look forward to continuing that tradition of having a night of conversation and establishing forms of communication within the family and with your children. That completes mine, Mayor.
Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things from me. First, from the Police Department, the United States Drug Enforcement Administration has declared Saturday, April 22nd as the 24th National Take Back Day, per Chief Mike McMahon. Too often, unused or expired prescription drugs find their way into the wrong hands, which is dangerous and can be tragic. The DA began its Take Back initiative in September 2010 to minimize water pollution by avoiding flushing drugs into the sewer system and providing a safe and anonymous means of disposing of unneeded or unexpired medications. The drop-off container will be at the Hillsborough Township Police Department located in the municipal building. The program will run from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Drop-off is confidential and anonymous. This is an important initiative, and it should be noted that Hillsborough Township has a receptacle in the police department lobby for medical drop-off throughout the year. Also, a reminder to be aware of rental scams. Rental scams are a common type of fraud that happens when either a property owner or potential tenant misrepresents the terms of the availability of a rental property. Fake advertisements or fake responses to legitimate advertisements are ways that criminals take advantage of the victims. Some common red flags that criminals use are that this property is too good to be true, the owner is too busy or traveling, an agent is referred to them for the transaction, or you cannot view the inside of the rental. As a property owner, you can protect yourself by meeting with the renter prior to the agreement, verifying personal references, and considering using a consumer report to verify the renter's information. Additional information on how to protect yourself against rental scams can be found at www.usa.gov/housing scams. That is all from me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Britting.
All right, just a few from me, Mayor. So first, we'll start with the tax collector's office. So this is for senior citizens. If you need to have your property tax rebate senior freeze form filled out and certified by the tax office, please stop by, and the staff will complete it while you wait. It's a nice service. If you wish to mail the form in, please make sure to fill out the top section before mailing that in. The tax office will certify the form and then mail it back to you. And the state of New Jersey hotline for questions on senior freeze is 1-800-882-6597. All right, that's first from the tax collector's office. Next, we have a little bit from the Hillsborough Business Association. So sign up for the HBA e-News. Now, keep up to date with all things business in our town in Hillsborough and beyond, and the HBA e-News and on our Facebook page. Learn about grants, resources, programs, and services at the municipal, county, state, and federal levels. Find details about our upcoming events like our next networking social in June, coming up pretty soon. Year's going pretty fast. Sign up for the e-News at www.hillsboroughbusiness.org and find us on Facebook at Hillsborough Business Association. Next, in regards to the business group, is National Business Week proclamation from April 25th. At the April 25th Township Committee meeting, a proclamation recognizing National Small Business Week will be given, and all Hillsborough businesses are welcome to attend. So if you have a small business or business in Hillsborough, you're welcome to attend. A photo will be taken to commemorate the occasion. Come celebrate your achievements as a small business and contact the Economic and Business Development Office for more information at hba@hillsborough-nj.org. That's a great opportunity too. From an internal group, a leadership perspective, I had the opportunity on Wednesday, April 5th, to open a pair of training sessions for Hillsborough employees that was attended by members of the Women's Leadership Training Program and the DPW Supervisor of the Day program. The two sessions were entitled From Conflict to Collaboration and Being Appropriately Assertive. They were interactive, engaging, and informative. And the last thing I would just add here, too, is I just want to give a shout out to our business administrator, Mr. Farrar. He does a tremendous amount of work with helping individual growth and development. And that's just one of the many opportunities that he helps the employees here in Hillsborough. So thanks for doing that. All right. And that's all from me, Mayor.
Thank you. And I would agree with your comments. So on March 29th, I had the pleasure of attending the 28th Annual Mayor's Legislation Day. Anthony Farrar and I went down there in Trenton. It allows us to meet with state leaders to discuss issues that are both important to us and our local municipalities. It's actually the first one they've had since before COVID, so it's the first one I was able to attend. Next, we have Township actually had a little recognition. The picture of Rainbow Hill Farm, if you've been out west, you probably recognize that farm, was taken by Hillsborough resident Jake Smith and was given an honorable mention in the NJ Municipalities magazine. The picture was included in the 2023 Township calendar and was submitted to the magazine as part of their annual Show Off Your City feature. So thank you, Jake, for taking a great picture of our rural areas. Speaking of the Township calendar, spring is a perfect time to submit your pictures for consideration. If you would like your scenic Hillsborough photo to be considered for inclusion of the 2024 Township Planner, send your pictures to Deborah NG at debng@hillsborough-nj.org. Please label each picture with your first and last name and the location of the photo. Please do not include pets, people, or views that are obstructed by fences or roofs. The Neshannock Garden Club. And on April 3rd, the Neshannock Garden Club began prepping and weeding one of the several gardens that the Neshannock Garden Club maintains in Hillsborough. If you have a green thumb and would like to help out, join the Neshannock Garden Club on Monday mornings during the month of May from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Century Garden on Pleasant View Road. No need to call ahead of time. Just show up with your tools and your gloves. And a continuation now for our 12th year in a row, towns across the nation will be taking part of the Weiland Foundation National Mayor's Challenge for Water Conservation. We are encouraging all residents to take the pledge and to open the discussion for water conservation ideas. I also urge my fellow mayors to participate in the challenge. Help Hillsborough be the most water-conscious town in America by taking the short pledge at mywaterpledge.com. That's mywaterpledge.com. Your goals can be simple as taking shorter showers or fixing leaky faucets. When you take the pledge, you can also be entered to win thousands of dollars worth of prizes, including having your utilities paid for a year. Go to sustainablehillsborough.com for more information and see the press release in tomorrow's e-news. Water conservation remains a priority in Hillsborough, and this is a great opportunity for all to do their part. The annual Green Living and Wellness Fair will be held on Saturday, June 3rd, in conjunction with the Hillsborough YMCA Hop 5K. The fair will be held rain or shine from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Peter J. Biondi Municipal Building. Participating local business will have informative presentations, displays, and demonstrations to raise awareness on the many facets of living a healthy lifestyle. The annual Hillsborough Hop 5K Walk and Run is also back after a hiatus. The start time is 8 a.m. on June 3rd at the YMCA, with the race culminating at the Municipal Building, where the Green Living and Wellness Fair will already be in full swing. See the Hillsborough Township website and tomorrow's e-news for the press release and registration information. There are big changes coming up to your weekly newsletter as we continue to streamline operations and further assist our business community, as well as those organizations that have host events within our township. We will be supplementing the traditional weekly e-news with an event issue that will be released on Thursday afternoons. The Wednesday e-news will continue to feature township-related news, job posting, recognition from the township committee meetings, and any municipal department updates and information. But the Thursday edition will be an opportunity for upcoming community events to be listed. If your event has a flyer or a press release to share, please send it along. So this is if you're having a yard sale, if you have a fundraiser or something, send it to us and we'll post it for you. Lastly, it is my honor to announce that our own police officer, Rick Tishner, who happens to be in the room today, will lead Hillsborough's 2023 Memorial Day commemoration ceremony on May 27th as the Grand Marshal of the parade. This long-standing tradition of the Hillsborough is in Hillsborough such an honor as we recognize those and thank our veterans and military service personnel. We're grateful to have a Marine veteran. Officer Tishner leads our ceremonies this year as our Grand Marshal. Marine veteran Tishner enlisted in August of 2005 and went to boot camp at Parris Island. In January 2006, he attended the School of Infantry and graduated as an infantry assaultman. He served in Mongolia, Iraq, Mozambique, Africa, and Afghanistan. In 2017, Officer Tishner was hired by the Hillsborough Police Department. All township military service personnel, veterans, spouses, and widows are invited to join us on May 27th in commemorating this important day. And I just again thank you, Officer Tishner, for being our Grand Marshal. As always, you can stay connected with all events and more via the Wednesday e-newsletter. Be sure to follow and like the official Hillsborough Township Facebook page, Twitter, and now Instagram, TV29 and Hillsborough YouTube channel, and Hillsborough Alerts for traffic and emergency notifications. We have 3 proclamations and a presentation today, so we will go down. Then, as usual, we will break for those to leave. So I'll be down in a minute. Here for this one.
It's on ESPN now.
Please, for the Autism Awareness Week, please come up.
What about? Life skills. Sorry. You dropped my prop. Thanks.
Here, why don't you go on the middle here? Since you got it. Autism is a pervasive and developmental disorder that manifests itself and affects the social, learning, and behavioral skills of all those affected by it. Autism is currently estimated to affect 1 in 44 children nationally, which rates being highest in New Jersey, where the diagnosis rate for a child with autism spectrum disorder has increased from 1 in 35 to 1 in 35. Those with autism need equal access to education, employment opportunities, community-based housing, family service and coaching and support, and medical treatment. New Jersey offers a wide range of services and support to this position through various state, county, and local organizations for autism. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that we, the Mayor and Hillsborough Township Committee, hereby declare April as National Autism Awareness Month and vow to continue to support programs dedicated to Hillsborough special needs community.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Lopani. My name is Dr. Lori Lopez. I'm Supervisor of Special Services here in Hillsborough, and I'm so honored to be here tonight. Thank you so much for celebrating those in our community with autism and all of the special gifts that they bring to our community.
Thank you. I just want to thank the mayor and township committee. And it was, oh my God, I think 21 years ago that Project Lifesaver with Somerset County Sheriffs, that we kicked that program off for autism. So I want to thank the Sheriff's Department. It's always nice being here. The Hillsborough Police Department, which has been amazing in my over 20 years here of supporting not only children on the autism spectrum, but all special needs, as well as the amazing teachers here at the Board of Education. And the many people on the proclamation that we couldn't read them all because there's so many great not-for-profit organizations here in town, and all the volunteers and the residents as well. So between our fire, our rescue, our police, sheriff's department, the teachers, all the not-for-profits, and the people in this community, it's just amazing, the outreach. So I just want to thank the mayor and the committee for all their support and being supportive of all the programs that we do, including the recreation program here in town and all the other services that we have in township here. So thank you, and it's much appreciated.
A little bit closer. Perfect, thank you.
Trying.
Alcohol awareness, someone here for that? Of course.
Track of stickers.
Yeah, we got two. We got three. Alcohol is the most commonly used addictive substance in the United States, with 1 in every 12 adults, 14 million people suffering from alcohol abuse and dependence. People who begin drinking before the age of 15 are 5 times more likely to develop alcohol dependence than those who begin after the age of 21. Kids who have conversations with their parents about the dangers of alcohol and drug use are 50% less likely to use alcohol and drugs than those who don't have such conversations. The Hillsborough Municipal Alliance envisions having our local community understand that alcohol use and abuse is a chronic condition that can be successfully prevented and treated. Now, therefore, it be it proclaimed that we, the mayor and Hillsborough Township Committee, do hereby proclaim April 2023 as Alcohol Awareness Month in Hillsborough, New Jersey.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the Township Committee, as always, for your support. My name is Minda Maggio. I'm on the Hillsborough Millstone Municipal Alliance. There's 3 of us up here tonight, but there really is a whole committee of people that work on the Alliance and really just dedicated to the cause of helping people understand that alcohol and drug addiction can be very detrimental to your health, and we just try to put some programs together in the school district and in the community to help raise awareness. Hillsborough was designated as a stigma-free community several years ago. Thank you to the mayor. And it's really important that we help our community understand that there's resources available and that we care about them as a community. We care about all of our community members. Thank you for mentioning puppy yoga. That'll be a great event coming up. What better way to, think about our mental health and spend some time with some puppies. Night of Conversation was a great event also, again, raising awareness about having those conversations with your kids. So I really appreciate the support of the Township Committee for all of these kind of things. So thank you so much.
Parkinson's? There we go. They're coming up. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Parkinson's disease is a chronic progressive neurological disease and is the second most common neurodegenerative disease in the United States. Parkinson's disease is currently estimated to affect approximately 1 million people in the United States, and 90,000 new cases of Parkinson's disease are expected to be diagnosed just this year. Volunteers, researchers, caregivers, and medical professionals are working to improve the quality of life for persons living with Parkinson's disease and their families. The mission of Rocksteady Boxing is to empower people with Parkinson's disease to fight back. The Hillsborough Rocksteady Boxing affiliate continues to help those with Parkinson's to improve their functions and quality of life through boxing-inspired fitness programs. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed that we, the mayor and the Hillsborough Township Committee, do hereby declare April as National Parkinson Awareness Month and urge residents to support the search for a cure and assist those individuals and families who deal with the devastating illness on a daily basis. Congratulations.
This is my favorite thing to do. All right. Well, thank you, Mayor Rapani. Thank you, Township Committee, for this proclamation and for helping to raise awareness about Parkinson's disease. The number has recently gone up. They used to say it was 60,000 a year that were being diagnosed. Now it's 90,000. It's the fastest growing neurological disease that we have. And actually, in some of the statistics, I found it's the #1 neurological disease. So this week, we've been working on, with our boxers, working on our exercises and challenges all the time for getting them stronger. So this week, we actually asked them, what would you like the world to know about Parkinson's, since they're the ones dealing with it? So here's some of the things that they were saying. It's not contagious. Some people are afraid to go by them because they think it's contagious. The disease made me choose to go to the gym and meet some amazing people and get in better shape than I ever would have otherwise. So some people actually have put a silver lining on it and said, look, I'm in better shape than I ever was before I had Parkinson's. That they have control over how they can live with the disease. Having Parkinson's disease is not a death sentence. And the disease is unique in every person, just like every person themselves is unique. And one of my favorites, I'm still the same person inside. So, let's see. So, exercise is the only thing that doctors can prescribe that actually slows the progression of Parkinson's. So that's why we have our Rock Steady Boxing program, and we hold our classes at the Impact Training Gym here in Hillsborough. It's a non-contact boxing, fitness-inspired program, specifically for people living with any stage of Parkinson's. It's also an amazing place for them to get resources and also support and hope. So I am not alone in working with these people. We have, right now, we have at least 70 people that are working out with us in our 2 programs. I have a huge team of wonderful volunteers. We have over 20 people coaching and volunteering with our program. It absolutely wouldn't happen without them. So it just so happens that today, in addition to Parkinson's Awareness Month, today, April 11th, is World Parkinson's Day. So there's also a world challenge going on right now, and it's called the Sit to Stand Challenge. It's actually called the Stand Up to Parkinson's Challenge, and it's to draw attention to the importance of exercise if you have Parkinson's. So the goal is to hit 1 million sit to stands in this 24-hour period today. That means not just people with Parkinson's, but anybody can do this challenge and enter their number. So when I left my house, we were at 200,000 across 15 countries so far. And we have until, well, not just midnight here, but midnight wherever the last time zone. So anyway, how would you like to all help spread awareness? Do some sit to stands. We're going to have to do squats up here because there's no chairs, but you can use a chair. All right. So I'm going to use my Rock Steady Boxing voice now. So the way you do this is you're going to cross your arms. Okay? Yeah, be careful in the rolling chair. Be careful in the rolling chairs.
This is the Macarena, I'm not doing it.
All right. Okay? So just think, if we can get 40 or so done in 1 minute, we're going to do a 1 minute Tabata style. So does anybody know Tabata style? You do as many as you can. Normally Tabata is 4 minutes. I'm only going to make you do 1 minute. Okay? 1 minute. Sit to stands. You're going to count how many you do. You got to go all the way up and all the way down. All right? And, oh gosh. This is happening. All right? All right, so Tabata is 20 seconds of exercise and 10 seconds of rest. So you get the 10-second rest. You don't have to do it for a whole minute. Okay, so you're only going to do pretty much 2 cycles. All right? Okay.
Music with it.
Yeah, here it goes.
Music.
Wait, I got
Connie will never
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Sure I am. Famous last words. Always ready. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, come on. Count how many you do. 3, 4, 5, 6, Come on, guys. Break time. I got 50. No, one more time.
No, we're not done.
How you doing, bro? Hey, kids.
Go.
Let's go. We're back.
And we're back.
No time.
You got it. Keep going. Woo! Nice. All right. Thank you all. Thank you.
Who would thought you come get a workout at TC meeting? Thank you, Barbara. Thank you to everybody for being good sports. Can I get a picture? We're all sweating now.
Should do a squat while in the picture.
Who's got the burn?
That's good.
Feels good.
Feel the burn?
Oh, yeah. All right. Do I have,
I'm going to go you, by the way.
members down?
Okay.
I think it was 1.5. No, I'm kidding.
That was my good.
Siobhan, come up front. Come on. I know you love this part. You play the music? Fly goes fly? So on March 30th, the YMCA held an annual campaign celebration and volunteer spirit award. Hillsborough Township Health Officer Siobhan Spano is the 2023 Community Partner Award recipient for always lending in her knowledge and expertise to the Y, as well as her commitment to safety, engagement, and access. Savannah has been commended for her passion for the community, not only in the past few years, which has been very difficult, but for her entire time here, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Thanks a lot for the recognition. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
More stairs.
It's okay. It's like landing.
Okay, so that concludes our workout and our awards for this evening. We'll take a brief 4 or 5 minute break. If everybody wants to leave, can, and we'll resume at quarter after.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's 20 feet to get about 4.
Okay, we're back. Still have the burn. I'd like to take a little, move some resolutions up to the front here, and especially on consent agenda, I should say, on consent 1 through 8. Anyone wish to take in any of these separately? No. Let's do one.
If we could potentially move
We'll do them
less
all.
the committee, if we can.
Yeah, we're gonna make a motion to move up to
I can't make
consent
that
agendas 1 through 8. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Anyone want comments on dais on consent agendas 1 through 8?
Thank you, Mayor. On consent item number 1, first I'd like to thank the supervisors this evening, our Economic Business Development Director, Suzanne Karras, and our Director and Supervisor of Social Services, Kathy Farber, for both being here this evening. For the first time, we have a joint position where our newest hire, Kimberly Elbaum, like to welcome her to the township. She'll be spending half the time in social services and the other half in our economic and business development department. So we feel that for the past few years, having part-time positions there, and those people move up, as we've talked about here many times through our career development, and we feel for the stability of both departments, having one full-time person in the township, sort of part-time, full-time in each department is going to be very helpful. So a lot of collaboration through the committee here as well as the supervisors. We're happy to today select our top candidate, Kimberly. So I want to welcome her to the team and look forward to good things moving forward. So welcome, Kimberly.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Welcome.
All right. So we have any other comments from the floor on consent agenda items 1 through 8?
Good evening, Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. I'm also Hillsborough Township property owner, Block 86, Lot 3, 2155 Camp Lane Road. Mayor, did you say 1 through?
1 through 8, yes.
Okay, on consent number 1, this is a new position that was created?
Yeah, as I had just mentioned, there were 2 part-time positions, one both in social services and one in the economic and business development department. So we combined the 2 part-time positions into 1 full-time for really for better continuity in the departments, having one person in there full-time versus having part-time people, which typically they move and get promoted to a full-time job every 6 months. So it's better for both departments to have that continuity in both. So you have one person in there versus moving out part-time people. And especially nowadays, it's much harder to hire part-time people as well. So we go through the training, and then within 6 months, that person could move on from part-time to full-time. Now with the full-time position, that person, we feel, will be there much longer. It'll be better for both departments.
Okay, I just want to mention your microphone is not working, and that's why I asked.
And the good thing is, I can't even bend over anymore. They can't. The good news is I think in April something, they're redoing all the microphones. So there's no one
We're
going to be
close.
more happy than me.
Was there ever a reason why yours was so much shorter than the other ones?
I think they just like every meeting that you say that to me, and I think they do it on purpose, Maria.
Okay.
And I think, and the more you say it, I think that now we're getting them done in April. So
He happens to sit in the
I
corner,
think
which is
I think
further
the
away.
mayor right before the meeting switches the microphone to make sure that happens. I believe that to be true.
I'm glad you explained that.
Thank you.
Now, on these positions, are
Yes.
there two different individuals doing each of these part-time jobs?
They were before, and those folks have been promoted and moved on. So both departments got together and said both of the folks had moved on.
Uh-huh.
So they both had 2 part-time opening positions. So they both agreed departments to make 1 full-time.
So Ms. Elbaum was never held any of these
Correct.
positions?
That is correct.
Okay, all right, thank you. Consent number 4, resolution authorizing execution of affordable housing deed restriction for affordable housing rental units.
That's number 5. It's number 5.
No, it's,
Oh, I got 5 in mind, so I apologize.
no, it's number 4. It's number
Okay.
4. That's correct.
All right, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Just want to make it record straight.
Yep.
The Hillmont,
There's 7.
was that recently, something that's recently been a development that's recently been built? Or how old is this Hillmont?
Fortunately, Civic Clerk is down, so I don't have access to look into it, so.
It's 42 affordable units in the Hillmont project, which I believe is off of 206.
Right, so it's a new project that's being done, and they have to, I guess like they always do the resolution as to how much and what the deed restriction is for the affordables that will be in there for 30 years, similar to the question we had on one from last meeting. I believe.
Exactly, Mayor. The same concept where these are going to be affordable housing rental units, and the ones that are affordable in that complex, there's 42 of them, and the regulations require a deed restriction to be placed on them.
Okay, so once it's approved today, it's going to be forwarded to the Somerset County Clerk?
Yes, it'll get recorded in the chain of title, letting anybody know that would be interested in purchasing that property, that forever, there's a deed restriction on that.
Okay. So after this approval, how long does it take before it's sent?
The document would need to be signed by the township and also need to be signed by the owner of the property and then be filed with the county clerk, which should take a week or less.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment on consent agendas? I guess I'm corrected. I must have an old copy 1 through 7.
Yeah.
All right, seeing none, roll call, please.
Committeeman Chickarelli.
Yes.
Committeeman Root.
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Britting.
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante.
Yes. Okay, so we have one public hearing, 2023-02, ordinance of Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough, amending the Township of Hillsborough Code of Ordinances to repeal Chapter 172 to adopt a new Chapter 172 to adopt a flood hazard map, to designate a flood administrator and providing for severability, and an effective date. This is a DEP requirement that has been imposed on all townships in the state of New Jersey. It has been sent and approved by the DEP. Anything else you'd like to add, Bill, about that?
No, exactly, Mayor. I think I know this comes from the NJDEP. It's a required ordinance that every municipality in the state of New Jersey needs to adopt. If you don't adopt it, then your residents who are in need of flood insurance through the federal program will not be qualified. So every municipality needs to adopt this ordinance, and it might even come even further than that from the federal government.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open the public hearing, the ordinance of 2023-02?
So move, Mayor.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? All right.
Yep.
Any opposed? No. Are there any discussions from the dais? I think we've already had some already. Okay, any comments from the floor on 2023-02? Just please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Good evening, Mia T. Shaw, 3 Deer Run,
Thank you.
Hillsborough. Can I ask some questions or is it just comments?
No, you can ask some questions.
You can ask questions regarding the ordinance. If you have particular questions about the ordinance, though, I would suggest that you contact our engineering department, would have the expertise in this area.
Yeah.
I can just tell you legally, this came from the NJDEP. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, this didn't go through an ordinary process that we go through and adopt an ordinance. As a matter of fact, the NJDEP said, here's the model ordinance. Before you even introduce it, send it to us. We want to see what you did.
Yeah.
They reviewed it, said, okay, you're clear to adopt this. And then we introduced it, and then they wanted to see it again to make sure we didn't change anything. So this is pretty much coming directly from the NJDEP.
Okay.
It's their data.
Yeah,
A lot of
it's
it.
theirs.
It is their data regarding certain flood areas and things like that.
Okay, that's really good to know. I mean, have they provided maps or do we have maps for the impacted areas? So we know like what neighborhoods or what homes, like if people need to update their insurance?
The maps are in the engineering department.
Yeah,
The
I'm sure
engineering
that
department
and it'll be loaded into our GIS, and we'll have detailed maps once it's adopted.
Yeah.
Because we have to provide that for, as Stephen Thompson said, and everybody for insurance and all that kind of
Yeah, but this is not you've heard probably a lot about the new inland flood rules.
Yeah.
this is not them.
Oh, okay.
There's still inland flood rules that are proposed that have not been adopted, that
Okay.
should have been adopted a year ago, but they have not been. And that is what I think most people are waiting on. That's going to be a game changer in terms of where development is allowed
Yeah.
here in the state of New Jersey, but that's not
Part of
what this is.
No.
I see.
Yeah, that's a whole regulatory process that's still going through DEP. Comments closed, but they still have to make their comments, publish it, and then adopt what they want to see as the final product of what those regulations are. And that will go a long way of saying, like, you can't build within a certain amount of a stream corridor, or this area is now environmentally sensitive. That's just a different animal than this ordinance that we have in front of us today.
Okay. Okay, that's very good to know. I was going to ask you if you could highlight the differences, but maybe this is not the place to ask you to highlight the differences.
Well, until they adopt the rules and the new flood numbers.
Yeah.
Then that will then dictate all the maps. So
Okay.
Long story short, the inland flood rules that we're operating under now are from the 2000s, even before then.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was from 2000 or 98.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of different flooding that's happened.
Yeah.
Because of building upstream, downstream, a whole host of different reasons, environmental concerns, all that's involved. So what we have, what we've been basing building on in the entire state of New Jersey
Yeah.
is fundamentally flawed. And that's why they're redoing the entire process. But although they put up a rough outline of what they want to see that to be,
Yeah.
they could still make a lot of changes before they adopt it. So it's unfair for us to say. The thing that we all should be pushing for as residents
Yeah.
is for LiDAR mapping, which is the laser mapping that essentially will give every single homeowner in the state an idea of where flooding would actually occur.
Yes.
In the 100 or 500-year floodplains. It's very expensive. FEMA has been slowly doing it. Some states have their own state budgets done it, like North Carolina, South Carolina. They've done it, and they've saved their individual residents that are in flood zones thousands of dollars because they then purchase their flood insurance from the feds, and they can go back and show, like, listen, I shouldn't be in a flood zone, or I should be in a flood zone. But that's New Jersey has not gone down that road yet. I think there was money in the federal budget for more LiDAR mapping, but it hasn't happened here, and it's critical because
Okay.
there's new risk rating, flood risk rating 2.0, which is just raising everyone's rates dramatically if you're in a floodplain. But
Yeah.
that's for a whole nother conversation.
Okay. And do you know if these rules apply to, obviously to new applications, but what about current ones that are being debated and not built yet?
we've said this before, any new regulations does not affect anything that's in
Even though
application process now, as of right now.
Okay. Even though the DEP said, like, even though the DEP passed it down.
DEP might not grant a permit
They may.
if they haven't received a permit yet, but that's a different,
That's all.
again, that's different.
Doesn't affect applications that are in process
Okay. Got it.
or approved at that matter,
Or approved.
or approved for that matter. So anything that's done and approved, they're based on the old numbers,
Yeah.
what they're required to build under.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm very happy that we're at least taking this step because it's a first step in the right direction. We need to,
I think we all
make-
agree.
Yeah. Everyone who's moved here, we're not passing through here, right? Like whether you're in a single family home or a town, like apartment, like you're here for a while with kids.
Sure, absolutely.
So we just want to make sure that our homes are protected adequately and our property values are protected adequately. So bravo on this first step.
Thank you.
But I would call the governor's office and ask them when DEP is going to adopt those inland flooding rules.
Oh, I will. I will.
Thank you, Ms. Shaw.
Thank you.
Maria Janusik. In regard to this ordinance 2023-02, the second paragraph states that the Federal Emergency Management Agency has identified special flood hazard areas within the boundaries of the Township of Hillsborough. And then it goes on, and have its periodic inundation and all this negative impact. So applications that are before the planning board that are in areas where there are flood hazard areas, and if they're approved, how is that going to impact those property owners when the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, has identified these areas, and that actually, you shouldn't be building in these, a developer should not be building in these areas. So what happens if someone buys a house and they have issues with flooding and whatever? How does that impact them in terms of insurance, flood insurance?
Well, when FEMA identifies an area that is in a flood zone, they're required to get flood insurance if they're getting a mortgage or anything like that. That's a requirement to that. But that doesn't mean you're not allowed to build in that area. Like DEP grants permits. If DEP, which we were just talking about, they've got new flood rules coming, decides to grant a permit to build, they're the ultimate arbiter in that regard. If you can't get a permit, you can't build. Especially in an area that's considered environmentally sensitive. We talk about wetlands or 15 other things.
Okay, so if the developer gets approval from the DEP, are property owners notified, or is there any kind of notification for people who want to buy in that development that this area was designated by FEMA as a flood hazard?
You're talking a lot of what ifs, but let's talk about if there was someone who's trying to build something and they're seeking a permit, they would have to go through the planning board.
Right.
And you would be very well aware if there was environmentally sensitive actions taking place on that property.
And also, I believe every time you get a title insurance policy, it includes a flood map search, and it'll indicate whether or not your property is in a flood zone.
Could you repeat that one more time? I didn't hear.
Sure. Whenever you purchase a piece of property, you usually get a title policy and a title search, and in connection with that title search, they'll be in there whether your property is designated in a flood area.
So that would be the only place where someone who was looking to buy a property in a new development would know that this was a flood zone?
Well, I would think that's what the average consumer would notice. Maybe somebody who's more diligent would come down to the township and inspect the maps and ask the engineering department. But I think your average consumer, even myself, would wait till I got the title policy and see if it designated that I was in a flood area.
Okay, because I think a lot of people don't know, especially first-time home buyers, don't even know what to look for. And then to find out you're in a flood zone would be a very scary predicament.
It would be, but that, I have to tell you that as someone who knows the process extremely well, that's just inaccurate. If you're going to purchase a property, especially in the state of New Jersey, it'll pop when you go to purchase it that it is in a flood zone. You won't be able to get a mortgage on a property that is not in a flood. If you're in a flood zone, you won't be able to you have to buy flood insurance when you're getting your mortgage. That's plain and simple. No bank will ever let you purchase a property in a flood zone without FEMA-backed flood insurance, or you could go to a third party like Lloyd's of London or something like that. But you will need a separate policy for that. That's what happened down the shore where you saw all those bungalows during Hurricane Sandy where they never got rebuilt. Some of them are still sitting because they paid cash and decided they had the property for 40 years. They didn't have a mortgage on it. So they no longer required under law to carry flood insurance. So then when they flooded out, that's why some of them were dormant until maybe the last couple of years. Some of them are still dormant when you go down the shore and or at least in things like that. So I can assure you that if you're buying a property in New Jersey or anywhere in the country and you're in a FEMA designated flood zone and you go to purchase it, it'll pop when you do your title or anything else. And they are going to require that you buy flood insurance.
So a developer would, if he gets approval from the DEP, is approved as far as FEMA is concerned?
You're talking different agencies.
FEMA doesn't.
FEMA doesn't care, but FEMA is not looking at that. FEMA designates areas that could potentially flood. They have different criteria. There's A1. There's a whole different criteria what most likely you'd be in if there was a major flood event. If you're closer to the shore, they include wind and everything like that. Storm surges, they include all that. Again, if you're talking about just a property here in Hillsborough, it would put you in the 100-year, 500-year floodplain, and you'd have to buy insurance if you're purchasing it. But I'm not sure if you're getting at a developer like a large warehouse developer or single-family home builder. I'm not sure which one you're going
Talking
after.
about residential developer,
Okay,
not a warehouse, but residential developer.
A residential developer, if they got approved, which I doubt they really would in most cases, to build in a flood zone, especially now under the rules currently and future rules. If you were in a flood zone, you'd have to buy insurance.
Well, plus you'd have to get approval from the DEP anyway to even build.
Yeah.
So it's a moot point. He would have to be,
Okay.
just like he would in the planning board, he'd have to go through, get the permits from the DEP to be able to build there. They have to, the wetland delineation, need an LOI, all the proper setbacks, buffers, et cetera, for him to even build in it. And if he got those approvals, then he could build. If he doesn't, then he can't build. And then when he went to go sell that house to a proposed, all those would be on the record.
Okay, what about in an instance like affordable housing development where people are going to rent there? The developer, it's the same thing. If the developer gets a okay from the DEP, he can build there.
Then he has to go through the regular process that every other developer would have to go through. But again, we've talked about this here numerous times about how affordable housing laws are incredibly flawed when it comes to the fact that they are allowed to build in environmentally sensitive areas because they say, we're looking for more affordable housing.
We're getting off topic. It really is not what this ordinance is about. This is completely aside from this. This basically was given to us by the DEP to establish the mandated language that they want us to have. The application process has not changed for any developer on how to apply or how to get in a permit to build anything. That is just as long as they're within the guidelines is what it is.
Okay, so this ordinance, it says an ordinance by the Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough amending the Township of Hillsborough Code of Ordinances to repeal Chapter 172. So actually, this is an ordinance, was this ordinance prepared for Hillsborough Township Committee, or is this from the DEP?
Ms. Janicek, again, this ordinance came from the DEP, every single municipality. The DEP came up with different ordinances depending upon, like one for the shore area, one for this area. So they came up with 3 different models. This model ordinance does come exactly from the DEP. And so this ordinance, every other township around here is adopting the same ordinance.
And is there some way to see what the differences are in the new ordinance versus the prior ordinance?
The only way you could do that is to compare them. You can take a printout of the old ordinance and compare it to this one.
So there's nothing here, like sometimes.
There's nothing here, right? There's nothing here.
It's a whole new ordinance.
Because this was a whole wholesale change. It was easier just to adopt it as the DEP suggested.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I was about to tell our employees they could leave, but they took their own cue, so.
Sorry, and I'm coming late to the game. I really apologize. Little kids.
State your-
Oh, thank you so much.
State your
Frank
name.
Homer from Taylor Avenue.
All right, great.
I'm going to do the best I can, and hopefully not a Q&A, because this is just comment. I'd like to make comments on the ordinance, if that's okay.
Sure.
Different, right? So I was trying to just read through. There's a lot in here. It sounds like it's coming from DEP. Thank you so much for that. There's some language in here which, if you're willing to comment on, I'd be more than appreciative of it. I was reading some language as like more restrictive, and there's some probably legal terms that may be in there. It may be helpful to comment about who makes the determination of more restrictive. If you see that language in there, that would be helpful to sort of the public to understand who makes that determination. I hear some comments about, at least from here, about flood maps. It sounds like that would be really good if we could have access online through not just DEP or through the state, but through the township, whoever determines those flood maps. It sounds like there's language in here which the township could have some control over. So that would be really helpful to have the public to see, either for new, current home buyers and other such. I would support the stricter code. I hope you guys are also in support of it. It also seems, though, that I hope you're taking into consideration a little bit of what could be perceived for community members who are currently in a flood zone to have maybe some increased burden on their part to apply to comply with the ordinance, or you have now, I guess, jurisdiction a little bit to enforce this ordinance. Is that how I understand it? Sorry, not a Q&A.
No.
You don't have, you can enforce the ordinance, or the township engineer could enforce the ordinance, right? So if you do, it would be really helpful for the public and for community members who are in a floodplain zone, if you're going to just have increased notice of what you're going to do with it, any regulations that go along with it. There's some other just questions. So we're looking through this as there's, I was hearing language or reading language such as engineering analysis. And I have questions, but hopefully you can comment about what those are. And I'm sure that these are back-end conversations, but I think it would be helpful to understand about the law that goes into here and the power that gives you, the authority in the town to do so, just the transparency behind what you are looking to do, because I think there's a lot of great things that could go forward with this. I would love a comment just a little bit about whether there was language also in here. This applies to the existing, in process, or recently approved applications that are currently in here. And so I saw some language about where this could read. I would love for just some clarity about where the thinking is as a township. Could comment on that. That's all I have. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Just real quick. So again, to be clear, this wasn't an ordinance generated by the township. The DEP, DCA, and 15 other agencies here in the state of New Jersey all do model ordinances frequently. They then pass it on and say, basically, you have to adopt it. You can do some tweaking here and there, but really, this is what you have to do by state statute in order to be compliant under DEP rules and regulations. That's what you have here before us, is us complying with DEP. They do things for stormwater management all the time, where we're required to clean out the storm drains and things like that. They pass it on to us. We have to pass an ordinance saying we're going to do it, or a regulation, and then we do it. It's kind of what you have here in front of you today. As far as enforcement, it is now the law here in Hillsborough once we adopt this. And we do that, but as you mentioned, as you read through here, there's a lot of language like can't be more restrictive than what's already written here. The state does that because they don't want us to say something like, okay, you can have zero building. There can be no more water coming off your property. That would be considered a violation of their laws, because I can assure you, and back in the day, towns used to do this where they would just ban building outright. In fact, Hillsborough had a ban in 1972 where we just said no more housing. Period. And we banned housing for 3 or 4 years until we lost the big lawsuit, and then we had to build all over again. That's why these things say not less or more restrictive. That's why that language is in there. So just to be clear. But again, this is more boilerplate from the state. So there's not a lot that's different here.
Do I have to identify again?
One more time.
Oh, thank you so much. Grant Colmer of Taylor Avenue. Totally agree. And boilerplate is great, but boilerplate also gives you power to do things over that boilerplate language.
Not necessarily. And that was my point earlier, where they basically say you can't go further than what they've dictated.
Oh, sure.
And that's a very common theme, especially under DEP.
Wholeheartedly, but it does give the township authority through this ordinance. And that's where someone's like, yeah, we're willing to adopt it and we have to adopt it. That's great. But now we have enforcement that we could do. Correct. And that's where I think some clarity or some understanding from the township or the planning board, whoever's on there, to say this is what we're going to do. That would be really helpful for the public to understand what enforcement looks like through this pushed on an ordinance.
To be clear, we had an ordinance. This is just amending the ordinance, right, to some newer language. And we obviously will enforce whatever we need is in that code.
And there's like a huge part about a floodway or flood administrator. Is that correct? That's
to designate a flood administrator.
That looked like a huge section of this ordinance, which gives a lot of authority to do things. And so that would be really helpful just to have an understanding.
Thanks, Greg.
And Mayor, just last thing, all flood maps are available online on FEMA's website. You just type in your address. I just did it, looked up mine. It takes seconds.
Okay. Well, we got people running up. Let's let him go first, since you already had first crack. Maybe he'll ask the same question you had.
Good evening. Jim Vonderhorst. I'm going to spell that.
Yes.
V as in Victor. ONDERHORST. 88 Weber Ave, Hillsborough. Good evening. I'm also the president of the Homeowners Association at Hearthstone at Hillsborough. So I represent 150 families within the community. We're also members of SWAT. And I had a conversation with that group earlier this week. And I have one comment and then a couple questions, and some of them may have already been answered.
Is it on this ordinance, or is it on something? Is it on this ordinance in specific?
On this ordinance.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I know enough. Not
because you'll get time later for the other stuff. Okay.
First of all, regarding the ordinance, I don't understand everything in this ordinance. I'm not a water guy, but I understand enough of it that Hillsborough, Hearthstone and Hillsborough, as well as SWAT, we agree that you should adopt this. We think it's a step in the right direction. It is not going to solve all of Hillsborough's problems, but it's definitely better than the status quo. So on behalf of both groups, we wanted to say thank you for adopting it, and please do so as quickly as you can. Couple questions. First question I have is, I'm assuming that this will be coordinated with the Hillsborough Township stormwater plan. I could only find one from 2011 on the website. Is that the most updated one? Or is there, somebody said, well, they did one back in 2021, but I couldn't find it.
I don't know. I'd have to ask the engineering department.
Okay.
I feel like we adopted one a couple years ago. Yeah.
But we can
Okay.
get that from.
I can't find it. Maybe on the website, I can't find it. Okay.
There's one on the website.
All my other questions, except for the beneath.
Jim, could you hold on one
There
second?
is one on the website from 2021.
Sir.
Right here.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Which tab is it under, Ms. Brake?
It's on the engineering page.
Engineering page, thank you. And so it'll be coordinated with that one. That's the most recent one. And I still need a clarification. Will this be applicable to, and we're mostly interested in warehouses, will this be applicable to existing warehouses that are up before the planning board for approval? That's no, right? Okay. Thank you.
The only asterisk I'd put for that, Mayor, again, is permits.
Permits from the DEP.
Permits from the DEP. If the DEP changes the rules,
Right.
In the planning
and they haven't
process.
applied yet.
Right.
But again, this is why I would encourage you to call the governor's office and DEP and say, why has not the inland flooding rules been adopted yet? They were proposed almost, well, they were rumored to be proposed a year plus ago. And here we sit.
Great. Thank you. And
Thanks, Jim.
again, thanks for getting this adopted ASAP.
He was here early too. He was here at 7, so we give him credit.
Can I leave early?
You may leave.
Extra credit.
Ms. Shaw, you have another one? Sure.
Nia T. Shaw, 3 Deer Run. The floodplain administrator, do we have someone identified, and when are they going to be hired?
I believe the engineer's designated.
Yeah, I think it's just the engineer who, in this case, would be our engineering company, Pannoni, and also our in-house engineer, Tom Ballinger, would be that.
They would jointly
They
be
work
flood-
together, yeah, because, we hire them to do like the studies and to do any of the mappings and all that kind of stuff, so they would work together.
Okay,
But Tom Ballinger would be the consistent person here because obviously engineering companies come and go, but
yeah,
they would work together.
so he would be the floodplain administrator.
Mhm.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else on this ordinance? Okay, seeing none, we have a roll call, please.
You're closing and closing.
Okay, motion to close and adopt.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
2023-02. Thank you.
Second.
Second, okay, roll call, please.
Committeeman Chicarelli?
Yes.
Committeeman Rowe?
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Britting?
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante?
Yes, I didn't flip the page, sorry.
That's okay.
2022-03, ordinance amending Chapter 143, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Schedules, Section 143-32, Schedule 3, no stopping or standing, to prohibit parking on a portion of the northbound side of South Woods Road during specific hours. This ordinance prohibits stopping and parking on the northbound side of South Woods Road in the area of the Woods Road School, addressing hazardous conditions caused by vehicles and pedestrian traffic exiting vehicles between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2023-03?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None? Any discussion from the dais?
Mayor, I just want to thank a couple of the teachers over at Woods Road who reached out to me, had some concerns about the children crossing back and forth, and also thank you to our police department for acting so quickly to make sure that our residents can be safe as they get to school in the morning.
Thank you. Anyone
Mayor, I
else?
would say too, my children actually go to that school, and I'm very happy that we move forward with this. So thank you for all involved.
Okay. Any comments from the floor on this amendment? Okay. Okay, seeing none. We have a motion to close and adopt 2023-03.
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Committeeman Chicarelli?
Yes.
Committeeman Rowe?
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Britting?
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante?
Yes. We have one introduction of a new ordinance, 2023-05, ordinance amending Chapter 188, Land Use and Development, Article 1, Title, Purpose, Definition, Section 188-3. Words and term defined in Article 4, Design and Performance Standards, Section 188-83, Sign Design Standards and Criteria in the Code of Township of Hillsborough, Somerset County, New Jersey. Further consideration and public hearing to be held on May 9th, 2023. May I have a motion to introduce 2023-05?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Committeeman Chicarelli?
Yes.
Committeeman Rowe?
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Britting?
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante?
Yes. Okay, we'll go on to claims list. Claims list 2023-06. May I have a motion to approve claims list 2023-06?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, comments from the dais? Seeing none. Comments from the floor on claims list? And I'll just preface by saying that the civic clerk is down, so it will be difficult for us to reference something in detail at this point.
Maria Januson, on the supplemental checklist,
Mhm.
number 1703, JML Landscaping Inc., grant account, drainage channel cleaning project,
$249,632.
$249,000.
That is monies that were set aside through the ARP money for the project that was done in that young man's development in the back in the Green Hills section. That was the payment of fulfilling that contract of the repairs of the Green Hills.
So that project is completed.
Yes, it is.
And is this total payment?
That is the amount, yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Any other questions on the bill list? Seeing none. All right, we'll take a roll call, please.
Committeeman Chicarelli?
Yes.
Committeeman Rowe?
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Britting?
Yes.
Mayor LaPlante?
Yes. Okay, so we are done. We have no new business at this time. We'll now go to public comments from matters not on the agenda. Ms. Brake, please read the statement regarding public comment.
The Township Committee welcomes input from the public. Please state your name and address, and please spell your name for the record. You will be given 1 3-minute allotment for your comments. Please understand that this public forum is not structured as a question and answer session. Comments are to be addressed to the mayor. Again, please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, so we have comments. Again, name and address, and Ms. Brake will start a little calendar clock on the screen there so you can see your time, and then we'll go on to the next.
All right, so my name is Mike Mueller.
Can you just raise the mic so it can be heard?
I
Perfect.
live on 49 Westville Road in Hillsborough, the old Austin District. Not sure if I'll be able to stand in 3 minutes, but I'll try to keep it brief. So I own and operate Mueller Plumbing. I think you know me, Sean. I've actually come to you in the past to make a complaint about the issues that I've been having with the plumbing inspector and also the building inspectors. I think everybody in this room probably collectively knows this town as a whole is a problem. I've worked in every town in the state, not every town, but central Jersey. I've dealt with a lot of inspectors. I grew up in Warren Township. I had no issues. I own properties in Boundbrook, Manville, North Plainfield, Manchester, Montgomery, about 17 rental properties. I've had no problems with other towns. Hillsborough, however, has been an issue for years, as long as I've been in the trade. I've been in the trade for 20 years. My father's been doing it since '82. So Hillsborough's been nothing but a nightmare to deal with, to get anything approved. Not so much on the planning board side, I'm talking about code enforcement. They require spec sheets for every unit you install. Most towns don't do that. So recently, again, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. Recently, about 3 months ago, I bought a property over River Road. It's one of the historic houses, not an historic house, but in a historic district. I went to Chris Huddy. I submitted the permit for a roof replacement. I didn't even need to do that. It's not required by the state. It's considered normal maintenance. I did it because I know how Hillsborough is, right? Submitted that, then I submitted an update as per my discussion with the DCA, Department of Community Affairs. Spoke to Anthony McCarr, and I said I'm going to submit an updated permit for the sheathing. I can do that within 3 days of the roof, and then he can come in and inspect after the roof is installed. Chris Huddy said, I need to go to the historical planning board. I said, no, Chris, that's not accurate. State got involved, set them straight. Okay, done. Then put in a water heater, because we do hundreds of water heaters, probably the most in Hillsborough in terms of plumbing companies. Put in a water heater. The water heater was again, I don't know if I time, 35,000 BTU water heater. The flue pipe, Frank Lucas said was undersized. I said, no, Frank, it's legal. Again, went to the state, wasted more time, homeowner's upset. He would have incurred over $1,000 in extra labor to the homeowner had we increased the size of the flue pipe. Fought with the state, went to Anthony McFarland again, shot him back down. He backed down. Then they made an excuse, and oh, well, you didn't submit the proper spec sheet, whatever. I said, look, Frank, if this happens again, I'm gonna go to the town hall, I'm really gonna bring this up, because I'm just tired of the abuse. I don't know if I'm being singled out, I don't know, but I'm just tired of the abuse. Lo and behold, the most recent one, over on Starview. Yes, Starview right off of Amwell. We put in a mini split unit for a customer. Nice lady, put in the unit. The lady, again, Frank goes to the job. He fails the job again. He says, you need a low water cutoff. He says, Frank, I spoke to all my HVAC friends. Nobody says you need that. Nobody puts them on. He says, yes, it's in the code. Again, go to the state. Anthony Manfaro gets involved. He says, no, Frank, you're wrong. So you would think it would end there, and you think he would just say, okay, I was wrong again. But now the pride's involved. Now the ego's involved. Lo and behold, we go to the next guy at the state level. That guy is Bill Schmidt. And I have this all documented, videos. I've sent links to the town administrator. Nobody seems to get back. Nobody seems to care. I go to the next guy, Bill Schmidt. Bill Schmidt, again, agrees with me. You're right, Mike. So now we have two state officials in both the DCA and the regulatory affairs. Two. Both telling them that they're wrong. But now their pride's on the line. So I go over to the town hall, and some of you might know, I put it on Facebook, and I approach and I speak to John Fielder. And I says, John, when does the abuse stop? When does the harassment stop? Him and I get into a heated argument, reciprocal, heated argument, no cursing, no profanity. He then tells me, and I have it on video, I can actually.
You're out of time, so can you finish it up?
No.
Do you have a point there? Do you have a point?
No, yeah, the point is,
So,
then in
because-
the video, he then tells me, how about if I selectively enforce, and I have it all on video, how about if I selectively enforce, I look into all the jobs you've done in Hillsborough. This is John Fielder.
That's not what he said. Thank you for your
Oh,
comment.
you want me to play the video or no?
Thank you for your comment. Your time is
I
up.
have the video, so I can
Thank
tell
you for your comment. Your time is up.
So John Fielder then tells me that.
Please stop the camera and the mic, please, end the meeting because your time is up.
I
And
can't get to finish.
we give you ample time. I asked you to get to the point, and you kept
The
rambling.
point is that then he.
Please stop the camera and we'll take a pause.
So now I've won this case again. This is now the third time, so the state has not agreed with me.
Why don't we take a quick adjournment?
We took a
Back to the law is you go to the Construction Board of Appeals.
I was going to say, Bill, we have zero authority over our building department. if I
Right, you
remember
can't
correctly.
tell John issue a permit or not issue a permit. You don't have that
Can we
authority.
take jobs away from people that we're employing because they're harassing and?
We're not going to get in that conversation here.
Okay, because
Well,
that gets into,
that's a
that
course
gets
of
into a
action
whole,
has to take place.
that gets in, when you get into discussing people's employment within a township, that's a very tricky situation, because now you're talking about giving them a notice that you're discussing
I
them
mean,
in
I would
public.
just like it to end.
No,
I don't want to see anybody fired.
No,
just for the
no, I
record,
understand.
but
I just
want to see an end to the.
I just wanted to make sure you understand that we can't discuss anyone's employment in public for any reason. It's
I just want a resolution is all I want.
I understand.
I'm not
Thank you.
saying heads need to roll. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I would like to see something take place that these people realize you can't enforce codes that don't exist. Like,
Well, again, we're not code enforcement officials, so
yeah.
We can't-
Well, I know you're not code enforcement, but we also have to oversee our government officials to make sure they're not overstepping and they're not.
And but that could help if you actually went to the Construction Board of Appeals and got a ruling from them. That would show us something. But now I just got,
Well, I have
what you
two-
say this, they say this.
I have two rulings. I have two rulings and two resolutions. I
Well,
can send you everything.
I believe that goes to the Construction Board of Appeals, and you would need a
The
ruling from
problem
them.
is that everybody continues to pass the buck. It's like, well, it's not our problem, or we can't help you, or we're not gonna do it.
All right.
So again, I don't know plumbing
We're done.
standards, so I can just tell you legal standards and the proper administrative remedies through the Construction Board of Appeals. It's not the governing body.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll restart now, and you're welcome to come up, Greg.
Grant Corner, Taylor Avenue.
Hi, Greg. Grant, I'm sorry.
That's no problem.
Hi, Grant. Yes, sir. Start the clock, fresh clock, 3 minutes.
I'm waiting
Go
for
ahead.
3 minutes.
Go ahead.
So Before.
You're good.
Thank you. It's real quick. But since I'm here, on January 4th, 2021, there was a resolution that was passed to authorize Pinoni Associates to provide a stormwater management study. I haven't been following the township committee minutes or videos, and no offense to all of you and your time, and most of the planning board.
They're online. You can catch up anytime you want.
Oh, it would be double speed. However, that was paid $53,800 to do that study. I would be, my comment is simple. I would love for the township to at least make it or make public. If it is already, I would be welcome to where that information could be and or report on it.
Which study you reference to? Can you,
Yes, it
It's
was.
2021, we did for Pinoni. I think it has to do with.
in 2021?
Yeah.
It was approved on January 4th, 2021. And then July, I believe, was submitted for.
I believe that was the study for your area.
Yeah, it's
That was that for us to do the work that we just did.
Okay, yeah, is that available online? I don't know the question and answer. I'd be happy to see it next year.
I don't think it's on.
I don't think it's
it's
on, but-
available via, if you reach out to the engineering department,
engineer.
I'm sure they'll get you a copy if you open it.
Okay,
They'll be
yeah, I
happy
was
to
wondering if it
provide
was
it.
completed and would love to sort of report, but that was the work that was done. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Grant. Restart.
Maria Jansen. In regard to that Green Hills drainage project, once a project like that is completed, is there a report provided to anyone in regard to the work that was done?
You could read the bid specs, and that would be the report. What was done, the job was done to whatever the bid specs were, and that would be basically it, what work was to be done.
So no one from the township inspects it or checks?
Well, it's inspected by the engineers based on what the bid specs and the documentation for the job, the scope of the job.
But there's no report?
No. The report would be that it would have been done to what the specs of the job would be.
Our engineers are, they
I know,
want to
it
make
is
sure that it's done to what the
Was
bid
required.
was specified.
Right.
All right, well, you said you're the engineers, so the engineers would, sign off, say that the
So, Ms. Janusik, to answer your question, whether or not there's a written report regarding that, I don't know. But I am confident that the engineers, after the work is done, inspects the work and says, okay, the project's been completed, and then they authorize payment. Now, whether or not there's a written document to that effect, I can't say. But yes, the work is inspected by the township.
So that wasn't my question, is it inspected? My question was, is a report given?
And again, I don't know the answer to your question or whether or not there's a written report. I'm sorry, I just don't know the answer to the question. But I can tell you that it is inspected.
So how?
It's like when a road is paved here in town and our engineers go out and ensure that it was done correctly. If it's not, they reject it and they have to fix the road, which we've had happen.
Okay, so
But you don't need it written down. You can just verify that the work's been completed, which
So then who would be the township official who would have gone without?
I think I just said the engineer.
To check it.
Pannoni inspected it. Our engineering company did the inspection.
You know, he did the inspection. And so, for this kind of project, the contractor would submit a voucher for payment,
They would at the point submit an invoice, yes.
an invoice. Okay, all right, thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Shaw, come on up.
Restate. Okay, Nancy Shaw, 3D. A few months ago, we were considering an ordinance to weight restrict Willow Road. Do you know what happened to that? I haven't been following the updates.
Well, we did a study, a road study, which we have and submitted out to anyone who would want it. And in a nutshell, I think I even said in a township committee meeting that essentially that road is built to land a 747 on it. It can handle anything that was designed. It's built with wide shoulders and a bike lane. And so to arbitrarily, based on the data from the engineering study and the county, it didn't necessarily warrant a speed reduction because of the way the road was built.
A speed reduction, you said?
Oh, I think he said truck. Weight. I think.
A weight and a speed at this, we haven't completely gone over, but the study basically on the speed part of it was the fact that the people don't speed on it. We had the police do a study and see what the percentage of people actually sped over. There was almost none. Most people were because I guess they all live there, so they all were adhering to the speed limit. So, I mean,
I won't self-incriminate, but I'll ask you the next question.
some people go faster, but let's say the majority of the people were honest.
it's an average.
An average, right?
The question is, with regards to turning radiuses, because these trucks need a wide berth, right? And those roads are rural roads, in my opinion, right? Like one lane each way, Homestead, it's pretty tight. What about that consideration?
That was done.
I know that's not like a weight consideration, but like that's.
The truck radiuses were done as part of it, the templates and the truck turning radiuses from Ammo Road to and from to Willow, all passed. The truck radius or turning radiuses, which you're alluding to Hillsborough Road and that intersection all fit within the envelope based on the state statute and turning envelope, and also Homestead Road. And that was released, I gave to one of your neighbors,
Oh, okay.
the one that always sits in the back there. But he's not here this week.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
So truth is there, whether you want to accept it or not, that's basically what it is.
No, I wasn't aware. I know the last time I came, we were talking about that, and I didn't know what happened to it after that.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Ciccarelli?
Yes.
Committeeman Rowe?
Yes.
Committeeman Thompson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bruting?
Yes.
Mayor Lapani?
Yes, and we are adjourned. It's 9:10. Thank you all.